Hello, and welcome to your new Algebra 2 class. My name is Mr. Shear, and I'm a lead teacher with the Algebra 2 team, and I wanted to take a few minutes to walk you through your new course, starting with the announcements page. Whenever you first log on to your class, you'll see a page similar to this one, and we call this the announcements page. At the very top of the screen, you'll see all of your extra help resources. We have things like help videos for every single lesson inside the class. We have collaborations and live lessons for all of your different modules. And we also have tutoring rooms where you can sign up for a tutoring block and receive more one-on-one extra help, as well as pacing charts. We have two different options for the pacing charts. We have traditional pacing charts, which finish each segment on a regular 18-week pace, as well as a fast-forward method where you can finish the segments on a 12-week pace as opposed to an 18-week pace. Next to that, we have a new student orientation, and underneath, lots of contact information where you should see your teacher's picture as well as the contact phone number and email for your own individual teacher. There's links to things like Khan Academy as well as virtual classrooms, and at the very bottom of the announcements page is where you would go for all of your EOC and of course extra help resources. If you go to a traditional public school in Florida, you'll likely take the EOC associated with the Algebra 2 class, and this is where you can go for extra help. We have resources like your EOC calculator, a website called Shmoop, a EOC practice exam, and the reference sheet. So be sure to check all of that out, as well as any other links you see on your announcements page. One of the first questions students have when they're starting a class, especially if it's one of their first Florida Virtual School classes, is where do I go to learn the content and where do I go to submit my work? There's no information regarding the content or your actual work submissions on your announcements page, so where you'll go to complete those items is on the top black bar, which has all of your menu options. The three horizontal bars located here is your main menu for the class, and it has links for all the links that you could possibly use inside the course, including your lessons where you'll learn the content and your assessments where you'll submit the work. Additionally, it also has things like links to your gradebook, links to a messaging system where you can send messages to your instructor as well as classmates, all these different course information links, as well as links back to your announcements page, and things like technical support. So when in doubt and you're looking for a link, you can always go to your main menu here, or if you know you're looking for your lessons, there's a direct menu link for that as well, all the way over here on the left-hand side of your toolbar. You have direct links for lessons, assessments, to bring you back to your announcements page, as well as to send those messages to students and teachers. So for now, let's click Lessons and see what the Algebra 2 class has for content. And once you click Lessons, you'll be brought to all the different modules inside of the course. Modules 1 through 5 make up the Segment 1 of Algebra 2, and Modules 6 through 10 make up Segment 2. So if you're starting on Segment 1, you'll start with Module 1, and if you're starting on Segment 2, you only need the second part of the class, you'll start with Module 6. Let's say we're starting with Module 1 and get started. You'll see a sub-menu here which has all of the separate modules for Module 1, and we'll start at the very top, the Introduction and Pretest. This brings us to a mini lesson which is associated with our introduction and our pretest, and what we'll do is we'll read through the slides, including all of the sub-examples here in the middle, and then once we're finished, we'll progress through the next page until we get to the last page, which would be page 5. And let's go there now. And at the very bottom of page 5, you'll see there's an assignment listed. So now it's time to complete an assignment. It's the 1.00 Introduction and Pretest, and now let's find where we go to complete our actual assessments inside of the class. So you're ready to take your first assignment inside the class. What you'll want to do is go back to your main menu and look for the icon that says Assignment, which will be the second icon. If you click Assessments, it will bring you to a list of assignments which has all of your assignments for the entire class, starting with the first assignment, Introduction and Pretest. And if you click the first assignment, it will bring you to the actual assessment. On the very top, you'll have options for extra help resources, and if you click here, it will bring you to the actual exam. Once you enter the exam, you have to finish this one in one sitting, so be sure you have time to complete the assignment. It will bring you to the actual test here, and then once you're finished at the very bottom, you'll click Submit and then move back to the Lessons option to complete your next lesson before continuing on with your following assignments. As you complete the assignments, they'll start to disappear off of this sheet and allowing you to move on to the next assignment. It's very important that you work in order, and once you get to a practice exam, notice that it's followed by what's called a discussion-based assessment. What a discussion-based assessment is before you take any of your actual unit exams inside the class, you'll want to call your teacher for what's called a DBA or discussion-based assessment, where they ask you between 3 and 5 questions related to the content you've been working on to be sure you're ready for your first exam and to set you up for success in the class. So when you're ready for your first discussion-based assessment, your teacher will either reach out to you or you can schedule that with them as well to complete that and receive your passwords for your next exam. One other thing to mention is that notice that some of your assignments say assignment next to them versus exam. It's because these are written assignments where you actually have something to submit. The questions for these corresponding written assignments, like 2.02, can be found at the end of the lesson from the lesson section. So when you get there, be sure to answer the questions associated and then submit your work for these assignments. If you find that you're having trouble inside the assignments and you're not understanding the lessons fully, that's where you'd want to go back to those extra help resources we were talking about earlier. On your toolbar, click the Home button and that will bring you back to your announcements page, and on the top are all of those help resources that we mentioned at the beginning of the video, starting with the help videos. If you click help videos, you'll see there's lots of extra help videos for every single lesson inside the course. You can also go back to your announcements page and select collaboration or live lessons. A collaboration is a part of the class, and so long as you complete at least one of these live lessons, you'll receive 50 points for what's called your collaboration assignment on each segment of the course. These times do change, so be sure to check these each week, and you can definitely attend the corresponding lesson depending on which module you're on. For example, for Module 1, there's a Module 1 review this Wednesday at 5 p.m. Again, those times change, so be sure to check that on a regular basis. Going back to your announcements page, you also have tutoring rooms where you can sign up for tutoring, and don't forget, you can always call your teacher for help as well. They're waiting for you and are eager to help. We've talked a little bit about resources you can use for extra help. Now let's talk about resources you don't want to use. This is what we call academic integrity, and it's a word for meaning that you're doing your own work. And what that relates to is, if you're having trouble in the class, be sure to reach out to us or use the help resources that we provide. But what you wouldn't want to do is, for example, copy a question that you're working on and paste it into a web search and visit websites like OpenStudy or Brainly or Yahoo Answers or anywhere online that you see that our questions have been posted and answered. You'll want to stay away from those. Reach out to your teacher if you're having trouble. But using other people's work as your own could result in trouble in the class. Things like reduced credit for an assignment, possible zeros, or even possibly proctored segment exams. Students who don't do their own work also tend to have trouble with discussion-based assessments. So when in doubt, reach out to your teacher, and we're here to help as well. Lastly, let's talk about PACE for your Algebra 2 class. Like we mentioned before, we have various pacing charts as well as a fast forward method and the traditional 18-week pace. There's another option as well. If you go to your main menu and you select pace from the course information, you can also print out an individualized pacing plan that will complete the class for you at a date that you pick. However, if you go to our traditional laid out pacing plans, you can find some help there as well. And what those look like is a table of a week by week basis where you have a list of assignments to complete. You can see these usually go between 3 and 5 assignments per week, and that will complete each segment on the regular 18-week pace. You're always welcome to go more quickly as you'd like to, but try to stick to at least 3 to 5 assignments per week so you don't fall behind pace in the Algebra 2 class. As a matter of fact, if you complete exactly 4 assignments each week, you'll finish each segment on the traditional school year calendar of 18 weeks per segment and be done with the class before you know it. So now you're ready to complete your welcome call for Algebra 2. Just to review, we've talked about your announcements page as well as where to go for extra help, where to go to find a pacing chart to get you through the class in either 12 weeks or 18 weeks or somewhere in between. We talked about how to reach your teacher as well as end of course exam preparation for students who go to a regular public school. As far as your links for the class, we talked about your menu bar at the very top. Your main menu is the 3 horizontal bars. Where to go to complete your assignments is right here on your lessons. Where you submit those assignments is where you'll find the Assessments tab. The home key will bring you back to your announcements page, and the mail option is where you can go to send a message to your teacher or fellow students. So you're ready to complete your welcome call. Be sure to ask your teacher about the grace period for Florida Virtual School, which will help you get started in your class on the right foot. And if you need help, always reach out, and I hope you enjoy the class, and we'll see you again soon.